What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Demon Reads Comics. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day. Today, we're going to do a review on Karmen. But before we do this review, I do want to say, so the last video that I posted was Saga Deluxe Edition, Book 3, which ended on issue 54. I have gone ahead and actually read issues 55 through 72, and I'm kind of glad I stopped. I'm not picking up the next deluxe edition. I'm getting rid of those books. It's just continuing on and on and on. I'm just I'm really over it. It was a good story, but I think it could have ended somewhere in maybe book 2, maybe in the big. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't even think they needed book 3, and I don't think they needed to do what they did in book 2 to end. I think they could have ended it nicely, in book 2 somewhere, but they're just carrying on with it more and more and more, and it's just kind of like at this point I don't really care what's going on anymore because it's just dumb to me. So yeah. Anyway. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a heads up on that. I did go ahead and catch up to the reading. I don't even think I'm going to continue reading it. I'm done with it, kind of. So anyway, that being said, Saga set to the side, done with. Let's go ahead and talk about Karmen. This is the hardcover. It does come in a deluxe edition with a dust jacket. I didn't pick it up because it was like $50 for that, and this one was only like $20. So just because it came with the dust jacket, it was like $30 more. And what's weird about it is when you take off the dust jacket, these books are exactly the same. The only difference is the dust jacket. Now, don't get me wrong. In the dust jacket itself, when you open it up, on the inside, there's like a mini story page of something else, right? So anyway, let's talk about Karmen. Well, let's talk about, the make of this book. Like I said, this is Karmen, a hardcover edition. It's written and art by Giullem March. It's a weird name, actually. Giullem. I don't know how you guys want to pronounce it. I say Giullem because in Spanish, 2 L's makes a Y sound. So I'm going to say Giullem. But it's published by Image Comics, as you guys can see there. And it does have sewn binding. Now, this one's going to be a little bit weird to do. And what I mean by that is, the main characters, there's 2 main characters, actually. The main character, one of the main characters is her. Her name is Karmen. And another one name is Cata. They call her Cata, but her name is Catalina. She's also the main character. Unfortunately for her, she's actually naked. But it's not like a obscure nakedness. Like, she's naked, but it's not like they show her nudity parts like all the time. She's naked. You see her like silhouettes and things like that. So I'm going to try to kind of skip through the pages a little bit so we're not like on it so much. But let's go ahead and crack this open, and I'll tell you a little bit about the plot of it and go from there. Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and crack this open and talk about the plot a little bit. What's weird is I did a video of this already. I did the whole thing, and it came out to be like almost 30 minutes long. And when I was talking about it, there was some things that I didn't understand about it. And so I kind of went back and reread the first part of it, and I understand bits and pieces of it more, but there's still something I didn't quite understand. So, first and foremost, I do want to say that I appreciate the end pages on this. Most of the time, they're just blank like this, red. But I appreciate that they did this. Right here, like I said, story and art by Giullem March. You got color assistant Tony Lopez. Translation. This is a translated book because I believe it comes from Europe. I think actually from Italy, actually. And so it does need a translation. And you can kind of tell that it's been translated because when they're kind of doing the words, some of it you're kind of like, wait, what? So you can tell. So anyway, Dan Christensen. You got Karmen logo by Jack Duro and lettering image by Chromatech LD. Production artist Deanna Phelps. Now, like I said, this book, I don't really know how to explain it other than it's kind of like the Scrooge's Christmas story where I don't even know if it's Scrooge's Christmas story. I don't know. The way I kind of look at it is, if you guys ever seen Family Guy, there's an episode on there where Peter and Lois's anniversary, but Peter lies and he goes golfing with his friends and he gets struck by lightning. And then he has like a near-death experiment and he finally goes back to his body and, he actually does the right thing. That's pretty much what the premise of this is. This book does have 176 pages. And it's kind of, even though it's 176 pages, it's kind of a long read because there's a lot of text. When there is talking, when there isn't, it's just beautiful art. one thing that I don't quite understand is they talk a lot about dreams right here in the beginning, but this book has nothing to do with dreams. Sure, in the end, the main character thought she was dreaming the whole time, but she wasn't. So I don't know where the dream sequence theme came from. So anyway, we start off 20 years ago where Catalina and her mom are waiting outside of a school. And, you know, she's telling her to hurry up, go inside. But Catalina doesn't want to. She wants to wait for her best friend. And her best friend is Cisco right here. And once Cisco gets there, they're happy and they're getting ready to go inside. That's where you start off to know who Catalina is and who Cisco is. And then it moves on to 10 years later after that. Yeah, 10 years later. We find out about this Vanessa girl. And this actually comes into play later on. It kind of wraps it up nicely. But right here we find out that Vanessa doesn't like that Cisco is hanging out with his best friend, which is a female, Catalina. And she pretty much gives him an ultimatum. Either stop seeing Catalina or we're broken up. So he pretty much breaks up with her. And then it goes on to several years later. Here you got Cisco, and you got this girl right here, which you eventually find out who this girl is. In the beginning, you think that they're actually with each other. They're kind of talking to each other because Catalina calls Cisco. He doesn't answer. And then they're talking a little bit, and then Catalina calls her. This is actually her roommate. And she answers, and she's like, oh, well, you know, I'm fine. I'm just at the grocery store. She's lying that she's with Cisco. So it makes you think that Cisco is actually with the roommate. And then it moves on to, finally, we get to meet Karmen. This is an apartment bathroom. And that apartment is shared by Catalina and that roommate that I just showed you. But we finally get introduced to Karmen. Nobody can see her. The way I can best describe Karmen is she's kind of like a Grim Reaper. But not so much, because I want to say she's an angel, but it kind of explains it here. This isn't a religious book. It doesn't tell you about, you know, going to heaven or hell, nothing like that. It's more of a reincarnation type of thing. And so you kind of get introduced to her, and it never explains who she is. That's one thing I didn't like. When we finally get to meet, so right here you see Carmen's walking up the stairs and going into the apartment. She sees Catalina's best friend or friend and roommate there in the couch. She walks by it and goes to the bathroom. When she finally gets to the bathroom, she finally encounters Catalina, and she just got done slitting her wrist. This part is the one part I didn't understand, because after I got done reading this and I went back and kind of started reading the beginning part of it, I never understood why she did this, because yeah, she's being selfish. But it's not like she was it's not like she was dating Cisco and Cisco cheating on her. So that's why she did that. It's not like her parents disowned her. No, she left her parents and decided to be kind of like a lonely person. So she did it all to herself, and she's kind of like in a depressive state. And then she did that, which I don't know. Like, I'm not going to talk about, you know, mental illness and things like that. I just don't understand what events led her to this part exactly. Like, the story of it doesn't add up. Anyway, so Karmen kind of introduces herself to Catalina, and she scares her a little bit as a joke, but finally she helps her wrap up her bandages and makes her tells her to go on a walk. This is the part that really got to me, though. She tries to pick up things in this plane because she's in a different plane now. Technically, if you really want to think about it this way, this is her soul that just left her body. So she can't pick up objects from the world, right? Because she's a soul. And this is the part right here that really, really got to me. When they're going on a walk, you see Catalina, her actual body is in the tub with her wrist cut. And she's pretty much there while she goes on the walk. In a nutshell, you find out a whole bunch of things. You find out that, you know, she has a roommate, and she thinks her roommate is hooking up with Cisco, her best friend. You find out that what happens when Catalina touches people. You know, you find out that people can't see her. You find out that Catalina can fly. You know, her soul can fly, as you can see right here. Which is actually very impressive in itself. There is something that happens. There we go. I don't want to stay too much on the page, because, you know, you find out that right here, hold on, where is it? Right here. that when people pass away, they go into this big ball of light, and it's not like they go to heaven or hell. They pretty much see, this is where it's kind of confusing, because Karmen explains it that it's not really a heaven or hell. It's more of a reincarnation type of thing. And why is it a reincarnation type of thing that when they go into that new afterlife, the next life, why do some people fall and some people go up? It's not like they're going to heaven or hell, because Karmen explains that there is no heaven or hell. So where are these people going? Are they going into their next life? Are some people not going to have a reincarnation? I don't understand that part. That's another thing that made no sense to me. That was out of the three. Okay, so far there's three things that made no sense to me. Why why they go into the afterlife to get reincarnated, but why do they go up and down? Like, are some of them going to be reincarnated and some aren't? Why Catalina actually, slit her wrist? What Karmen is and what organization does she work for? Those things don't get explained. But the story in itself is kind of a growing thing. Like, Catalina's kind of like this lonely person. She likes to eavesdrop and be kind of a drama queen, but in the outskirts of it, she's not really a social person, and she's not really a lovable person. And eventually, throughout the story, she comes to an understanding that, you know what, in my next life, when I get reincarnated, I need to be better. I need to be, a better person. I need to do this. I need to do this, this, and that. Before she can do that, though, this right here is when she thinks that Cisco is actually sleeping with her friend, because he's talking about breaking up with the girl, and that's actually not the roommate that he's talking to. He's actually another girl. So it's just, even though the little sightings are going on, it makes so much sense to me on what the story's trying to put out in general, and that's why I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed the art very much. I enjoyed the story of it, but a lot of it doesn't get explained. There's going to be a part right here is when she actually realizes what's going on. Like, Karmen actually realizes, okay, you know what? This isn't a dream. I know what's happening. I'm a soul, and I only have a certain amount of time here on this plane. And we learned this because of this right here. This little light thing is coming towards her. Once she crosses that, they make a decision on whether she's going to be reincarnated or not. And I'm saying that because there's another thing that happens in this story about something red and blue, which I'll try to see if I can catch it and show you guys. But when she realizes she has a certain amount of time left, she kind of starts having the epiphany and starts realizing that she needs to be a better person. She wants to go tell Cisco that he loves her, or that she loves him. This part right here is kind of a nice story, and it kind of helps her character, build more. I guess you can say it's more of a character development for her right here. This guy's actually very helpful. His name is Tony. Well, we find out his name is Enrique, but because she can't talk to him, she names him Tony, and eventually she finds out that his name is Tony. I'm sorry, that his name is Enrique. But this is where she finds out what happened. Actually, no, a couple pages back. But every single time she touches them, she sees their life flash before her eyes, and she can't do anything about it to help them. This is when we find out that there's more than one Karmen out there, more than one Grim Reaper. This is Carmela, actually. And then we eventually find out, well, we not really find out, but we eventually get, this is when she kind of starts having that, like, okay, I need to be a better person in my next life. If she gets to be able to do that. I don't want to become like I was before. So she knows she's going to get reincarnated, but she wants to be a better person. This is when we get a little bit more of the backstory of the organization that Karmen works for, but not much. Like, there's a higher power here, kind of her boss, but then there's a higher power in that organization, and they need to meet a quota with souls. And that's about it. That's all you get about, that kind of background, which I don't really like. I mean, I wish they made like another backstory with this so we can get more, but that's all we get, and that's another thing I didn't like. This right here is another thing that got to me, like, oof. She touches these African American people and seeing that they were like slaves, not really slaves, but like what they went through, like on this ship, and it just really starts getting to her. I really like that. And then this is when she finds out that technically Cisco wasn't cheating on her with her roommate, because he was, or not really cheating on her. Well, he never was. But this is when he found out that she had a boyfriend, or I'm sorry, that Cisco had a girlfriend, and he was breaking up with her. And the reason why she was talking, or Cisco was talking to the roommate, was for a specific reason, and not because he was sleeping with her. That part really got to me. This is when she goes and tries to run to tell him that she loves him. But obviously, because she's a soul, she can't do it. And then you get a little bit more backstory, which ties up with the beginning part of the book, which was amazing to me. And you get a little bit more backstory here about the organization. Not much. It doesn't help. And this right here is what really got to me. I don't understand it. And I am going to keep this book. I'm going to give it a rating after I'm done with this. I'm going to keep it so I can reread it again to see if I can understand it more. But each person that passes away, they're either given a blue sign or a red sign. And I think it's the next page. As you can see here, she's actually red. And I don't know if that means she's not going to be reincarnated because she took her own life, so she doesn't deserve to be reincarnated. But something happens, and from red, she turns to blue. Hold on. Yeah, she turns to blue. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean she is being reincarnated? That's the thing that I kind of came to and understand it, but it doesn't explain it much. The people that go up get reincarnated, but the people that go down don't. So then, if there's no heaven or hell, that means the people that went down, there's no reincarnation, there's no afterlife for them. Like, what the heck happens? Like, I don't understand that part. There is also that guy that got that she was trying to help. Let me go back. This guy. You actually do find out that when they pass away, Carmen, Carmela, the Green Reaper type of females, they try to keep the soul away from the body so they don't see it. So when they do get reincarnated, they don't have like a tragic memory of it, which is kind of interesting. But it doesn't make sense for Catalina, because she took her own life and she saw herself in the tub. Anyway, I don't want to give away what happens at the end, but she does, end up getting saved. And what I wanted to show you, I'm going to leave it right here. There's a little bit more story to it that I don't want to give any more away. So I'm going to end it right here. This is kind of towards the end of it when she kind of does live from her suicide. But what I wanted to show you guys was very interesting. Throughout the story, when she's in her soul body form, not body, it's kind of like this tintish color. Like the color's not all there, right? And I kind of I thought that was very interesting, because there was a few parts that when there was an actual person talking, I didn't catch this actually until the end. Let me see if I can find the page. I think it's in the beginning. Yeah, right here you kind of notice a little bit more. There's color to it. Not here. Here, there's more color to it. I didn't pick this up, like why it was like this, and then there was like this tintish color. You actually understand why it's like that. When she's in her soul form, it is that tintish color. But when it's actually like real life, like humans, it's beautiful color. And that was just so interesting to me. So interesting to me. But yeah, I really actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I understand the message it was trying to, perceive. If you know you're going to pass, we all know we're going to pass away eventually, right? We don't know what's going to happen in the afterlife, if we're going to go to heaven or hell, if no religious belief. We don't know if there's going to be a reincarnation. We don't know. So what this book is what message it's trying to put out is we should do our best to live the best life we could while we're here, which is an excellent message to put out there. And I highly agree with it. So that's why I kind of really enjoyed this. I'm going to skip to the end of it right here, and kind of do the behind the scenes so you guys can see the artwork, how it goes from sketches to the stencils to, you know, finally the color, and then they add the dialogue. I think that's so interesting to me. This does have 5 issues to it, although the cover gallery, it does have 5 issues, but it doesn't tell you where one stops and one begins. That's another thing I didn't like. This first one is amazing to me. If you guys know who he is, Milo Manera, that guy, oof, I love his artwork for specific reasons that I'm not going to say. If you know, you know. But the cover gallery is amazing to me. Look at this. This one's my favorite one right here. I usually wear shirts like this with like Marilyn Monroe in a skeleton form or with tattoos and things like that. I would love to have this on the shirt. But yeah, guys, that's about it. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to give a rating to this book and see what you guys think, and also see what I think about the overall story of the book. Alrighty, guys, so we're going to do a quick recap. This is Karmen hardcover edition only, not deluxe hardcover edition. It's written and art by Giullem March, published by Image Comics, and it does have sewn binding. Now, what do I give this book as an overall story? As much as I really enjoyed it, I'm going to give it a 7. I want to give it an 8 because the story and the art was actually really good. But there was a lot of things that kind of turned me away from it. One thing about the blue and the red thing that made no sense to me. Why when people go into like the big circle, do they go up or down? Why she committed suicide in the beginning? Like, it doesn't really explain why her life was so bad to the point where she needed to do that. And it doesn't even explain the organization that Karmen works for. So there's a lot of things that doesn't really explain very well to keep me to be like, oh my god, this was very freaking amazing. So I'm giving it a 7.5, meaning I'm gonna keep this book and I'm gonna eventually do a reread. Hopefully, after I'm done reading the countless books that I have left, and I'm going to come back and do a whole bunch of rereads of the books that I'm keeping. All books that I'm keeping are going to be between 6 and 10, and everything that I'm not, it's going to be 5 and below. Those books, as soon as I read, I'm just done. And so everything that I'm keeping, I'm going to eventually do a reread. After I do that reread, if it's still about 6, 7, I'm going to get rid of them. If they're not about 8s, 9s, 10s, I'm not keeping them like the long run. So I am giving this book a 7.5, 7.5, meaning I'm going to keep it. I'm going to see how it, if it interests me again when I read it the second time through. I'm going to call it a reread. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So for now, that's the one. We just finished up Karmen. Next, we got Faithless. And then after the Faithless, we're going to do the Sandman, and then Berserker, Preacher, and then The Boys. Look forward to all that. Some of them are going to be kind of long reads, so thankfully I have some videos, to put before I do that. And so anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys haven't done so already, like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps put my channels out there. This isn't only just for me. Like I said, I know I do these videos for me to help me remember if I read something or not, and to tell me with the story. But it's also for you guys. Like I haven't really seen much reviews of this book, and it's a very interesting book. I do recommend it. So if you guys haven't done so, leave a like, leave a comment on if you guys read this or not, what you guys thought of it. Give me recommendations on what other things you guys think I should read. I'll definitely check it out. If I have it, I'll let you guys know that it's coming soon, and go from there. And definitely subscribe to my channel. It helps me out so much. I haven't really been getting any feedback, but I know my videos are getting at least some sort of views, which is at least hopeful, like, that's a good thing. But anyway, like I said, I appreciate you guys that do watch it and watch it all the way through. And also, if you guys haven't done so, go back and check out my previous videos. Some of them I know you guys probably not interested in, so I understand that. But the ones that you do guys see, leave a like. Just a quick thumbs up. It doesn't, it doesn't hurt you guys, and it helps me out tremendously. Anyway, all that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one.